6 months ago, Xabi Alonso sat in the dugout of the most successful football club on planet Earth, coaching Mbappe, Bellingham, Vinicius, and a squad worth nearly €1 billion. Today, he is unemployed, humiliated, and signing a 4-year contract with a Chelsea squad that just finished 9th in the Premier League. They lost the FA Cup final to Manchester City and burned through 5 managers in 4 years. Wait, read that again. The guy who took Bayer Leverkusen, a team that had never won the Bundesliga in over 100 years, and made them invincible, unbeaten for an entire season, shattering European records. That exact same man got chewed up and spat out by the Real Madrid dressing room in just 233 days. And now, he is walking into the most chaotic, expensive, and dysfunctional rebuild in modern football history. So today, let us be real. Brutally real. Is Xabi Alonso about to become a legend at Stamford Bridge and drag Chelsea back to the top of European soccer? Or will this job kill his managerial career before it truly begins? Because if he fails here after Real Madrid, there is no bouncing back. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you will see exactly why this coaching appointment is either a masterstroke or a career-ending trap. On May 17th, 2026, Chelsea officially announced Xabi Alonso as their new manager on a 4-year deal. Starting July 1st, he is not arriving as just a head coach. He steps in as a manager. Chelsea deliberately chose that title because the ownership wants to respect his experience and give him real control over the football operations. He becomes the 5th permanent manager under BlueCo, following Graham Potter, Mauricio Pochettino, Enzo Maresca, and Liam Rosenior. 5 managers in 4 years. Let that sink in. Before we talk about Xabi, you have to understand the absolute disaster zone he is entering. Chelsea under BlueCo, the group led by Todd Boehly and Clearlake Capital that took over from Roman Abramovich in 2022, is a complete circus. They blew roughly £1.8 billion on transfers in 4 years. £1.8 billion, and what do they have to show for it? 9th place in the Premier League. Missing Champions League qualification 3 times in the last 4 years. An FA Cup final defeat to City. Just 2 trophies in the entire BlueCo era, both under Maresca, who they fired on New Year's Day anyway. Fans staged a massive protest at Wembley before the FA Cup final. Their banner read, "BlueCo out, we want our Chelsea back." The BlueCo transfer strategy? Sign young players on absurdly long contracts, pray they develop, and flip them for a profit. The result is a bloated roster with 0 leadership, experience, or identity. The average tenure under BlueCo is just 258 days per manager. That is even faster than Abramovich's hire and fire era. And now Xabi Alonso is expected to fix this mess, armed with a squad full of talented but totally inexperienced kids. Kyle Palmer, Moises Caicedo, Estevão Willian, Liam Delap, João Pedro, Pedro Neto, Garnacho, Gittens. Massive potential, very little leadership, and most importantly, almost 0 ego. Hold on to that last point. It will matter a lot in a minute. To see why Chelsea chased him, rewind to October 2022. Bayer Leverkusen, sitting 2nd from the bottom of the Bundesliga, called him to take over. He was 40 years old. His managerial resume was Real Madrid under 14s and 3 years at Real Sociedad B. That was it. 0 top-flight coaching experience. What followed was one of the most stunning coaching masterclasses of the modern football era. He dragged Leverkusen to 6th place and a Europa League semi-final in his first half season. Then, in his first full campaign, he did the impossible. He won Leverkusen their first ever Bundesliga title, surviving the entire league season undefeated. They set a European record of 51 matches without defeat across all competitions. They won the domestic double. They reached the Europa League final. Suddenly, Xabi Alonso was the most wanted young manager on the planet. By the summer of 2025, he made the move every football coach dreams of. He went home to Real Madrid. Here is where the story turns dark. Alonso arrived as the dream appointment. A former Madrid star, a Spaniard, a brilliant modern tactician. The roster was absolutely stacked with Mbappe, Vinicius, Bellingham, Valverde, Camavinga, and Rodrigo. On paper, unstoppable. Within weeks, the cracks started showing. It all began at the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States. Alonso wanted to experiment with Vinicius on the right wing. He even planned to bench him for the semi-final against PSG, going with Mbappe and Gonzalo Garcia up front. Only a late injury changed his mind, but the damage was already done. Vinicius felt totally disrespected. The relationship was poisoned from day one. Through October, results looked decent enough. Madrid won 13 of their first 14 games and went 5 points clear at the top of La Liga after beating Barcelona at the Bernabeu. But behind closed doors, it was an absolute war zone. Alonso wanted to change everything. Strict punctuality, diet rules, fewer guests at the training ground, grueling tactical sessions and heavy video analysis. He treated the squad like seasoned professionals who needed to evolve. The senior stars treated him like a helpless substitute teacher. Players were supposedly faking sleep during tactical meetings and talking through his briefings. Alonso finally snapped. He told them he didn't realize he had walked into a nursery school. This was the dressing room of the biggest football club in the world. The tipping point came during El Clasico. Madrid won 2-1, but Alonso benched Vinicius. The Brazilian superstar exploded on the touchline, screaming at his manager in front of the whole world. He apologized publicly later, but deliberately left Alonso's name completely out of it. That omission was 100% intentional. Vinicius met Florentino Perez and told the president he would never sign a new contract while Alonso was in charge. Madrid chose not to fine him. According to team insiders, that was the exact moment Alonso lost the locker room forever. Even Bellingham and Valverde were totally unconvinced by his tactical methods. The squad fractured in half. Then came a Supercopa final loss to Barcelona, a brutal 5-2 home thrashing by Atletico, and a 2-0 home loss to Celta. On January 12, 2026, Real Madrid fired Xabi Alonso. He lasted 233 days, averaging 2.24 points a game, trailing right behind Barcelona in the standings. Fired right in the middle of a title race. Honestly, was that actually his fault or something much deeper? The aftermath is telling. Once Alonso walked away, Alvaro Arbeloa stepped in and Madrid just imploded. They totally dropped out of the La Liga hunt, got knocked out of the Champions League by Bayern, and handed the Copa del Rey to Albacete, a second-tier squad. The cracks were already there, completely out of Alonso's hands. Now, Real Madrid is apparently calling up Jose Mourinho. Yes, that Mourinho. The manager who chews up big egos and benches global superstars everywhere he goes. The word out of Spain is crystal clear. Florentino Perez wants Mourinho for one specific reason. He thinks only a ruthless boss can tame that chaotic dressing room. Just think about what that means. The president himself knows tactics were never the issue. The real cancer was the egos. This squad only respects an absolute dictator on the touchline. Alonso did not fail on the tactics board. He was just too nice, too patient, way too respectful for that toxic environment. He showed up wanting to teach. Those players wanted a tyrant. That is the brutal truth, and it totally flips the script on his Chelsea future. Tactically speaking, Alonso is easily a top 5 young coach globally. His Leverkusen 3-4-3 was absolute positional perfection. He builds out using technical defenders, pushes fullbacks inside to overload the midfield, and locks down the centre with a double pivot while causing absolute panic up front with attackers who swap roles non-stop. His sides press smart, keep the ball, strike fast on the break, and always kill you in the final 15 minutes. That 51-game unbeaten streak was no fluke. It was a ruthless system drilled into every single player. But look, he is far from perfect. As Madrid proved, his blind spot is handling massive egos. He is calm, smart, and persuasive. He does not yell or bully. He refuses to play mind games like Mourinho or Conte. With hungry, humble pros, that approach works magic. But with pampered Galacticos who think they run the club, he got eaten alive. Also, his tactical setup takes time. That Leverkusen miracle needed a full pre-season and a year of grinding. At Madrid, they gave him months. He had to win instantly while totally changing how they played. An impossible task. Now, here is why Chelsea fans should be thrilled. Back in Germany, Alonso grabbed young, hungry kids and turned them into champions. Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Granit Xhaka, Alex Grimaldo. They were not massive names when he arrived. His tactics made them global stars. Now, shift your focus to Chelsea. Palmer is 24. Caicedo is 24. Estevo is 19. Delap is 22. João Pedro is 24. Pedro Neto is 26. Garnacho is 21. Gittins is 21. Reece James is the veteran here, and he spends half his time injured. This is a raw, energetic squad with huge potential and zero massive egos demanding minutes. It fits the exact Leverkusen profile. If Alonso crashed at Madrid because the locker room was just too toxic, Chelsea accidentally fixes that exact problem for him. There is no toxic culture left to battle. He gets a blank slate. Plus, look at the Maresca situation. Right before the sacking, those players were heartbroken to see him go. Cucurella straight up said he would die for Maresca out there. This Chelsea squad desperately craves a teacher who builds patterns and offers clear instructions. That is Xabi Alonso in a nutshell. The fit is beautiful. And this is massive, the Chelsea board has to actually support him. Early rumours say they want to sign Igor Thiago from Brentford and Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa. They desperately need a midfielder who controls the tempo, exactly what Alonso begged for in Spain. They need a true number 9 and they need strong leadership. If the ownership treats him like Maresca, firing him 8 months later and ignoring his transfer targets, then yes, this Chelsea project will blow up too. If he fails in London right after flopping at Madrid, is his career over? Not completely, but it takes a brutal hit. The football world will say he only thrives at smaller clubs with zero pressure, that he cannot manage big egos. That reputation sticks, but the upside is huge too. If he finds success at Chelsea, gets them Champions League football on day 1, and fights for the Premier League crown by year 2, his stock goes right back to the top. He proves the Madrid disaster was the environment, not him. Suddenly, every top job is his again. Look, Xabi Alonso is only 44 years old. One ugly spell at Real Madrid does not end a managerial career. Pep Guardiola dropped 3 straight Champions League ties at Bayern. Jurgen Klopp lost 5 finals in a row. Carlo Ancelotti got sacked by Madrid in 2015, only to return a decade later and win Europe again. Failure is just part of football management. The real question is, if you learn, word from his inner circle says he finally gets it. He was way too soft on those Madrid stars. He admits he was not prepared for that nightmare level of ego management. Chelsea is the ultimate comeback story. Let us be brutally honest about Xabi Alonso. He is absolutely no fraud. He is not a one-season wonder. He is a brilliant tactical mind who made one single mistake taking that Real Madrid job before he was ready for the vicious politics inside that locker room. The game plan was never his problem. Trying to tame global megastars was, and that is a lesson you only learn the hard way. In London, he inherits a squad built just like his Leverkusen miracle. Young, starving, incredibly talented, and completely egoless. He finds an ownership group begging for stability, ready to hand him the manager title and absolute control. He meets supporters desperate to dream again, and he steps into a Premier League where City just lifted the FA Cup, but suddenly looks vulnerable. Liverpool is rebuilding. Meanwhile, Arsenal still has not turned all that hype into a league title. The door is wide open. Can he actually succeed? That comes down to 3 things. First, will BlueCo finally stop sacking head coaches every 8 months? Second, do they buy the tough spine he demands? And third, can he translate his slick Leverkusen tactics to the brutal, bruising reality of the Premier League? Nail those 3 things and Chelsea are officially back. If not, he becomes just the 6th name carved into the BlueCo gravestone. Make no mistake, this is the biggest job of his life. Succeed here and he cements his legacy as a generational manager. Fail, and that bitter Madrid narrative haunts him forever. The next 12 months at Stamford Bridge dictate his entire future. So buckle up. Xabi Alonso is going to war, and we have front row tickets. Tell me down below, does he rescue Chelsea or does the club ruin him? Drop a like, hit subscribe, and I will catch you next time.